Hello everyone, it's the Fantasy Almanac here, back at it with another best ball draft, another puppy draft on Underdog Fantasy. We just launched into another draft right now, and we have the ninth pick. Um, Nolan Lanier, who I've definitely seen drafting before, takes Jonathan Taylor. Number two to Spaceman, Dr. Spaceman, takes Christian McCaffrey. And then Cavalman, taking Cooper Kupp here. We got the picks flying off the board. Zico taking Justin Jefferson. The Daily Dial taking Jamar Chase. Inkmaker is now up at pick 6. Who is he going to take? Wow, this draft is absolutely flying by. We get Dalvin Cook off the board, which is pretty awesome, honestly. That means you're guaranteed one of either Stephon Diggs, Derrick Henry, or Austin Eckler. Hoping for either Austin Eckler or Diggs. Wouldn't be mad with either one. Uh, but I'm very happy to get in this draft and have the ninth pick. I've really been all over the place now. I got the first pick in the last draft and was able to take Jonathan Taylor, which was awesome. Now I get the ninth pick, so I should be able to get a nice wide receiver like Stephon Diggs. Mexican food has 0 seconds left, and we'll see who he's taking. Austin Eckler does go off the board here at pick 7. UDF is now up. UDF 9'2", 6'4", 920. We'll see who they go. I don't know why the people who are highly experienced, and I'm really wedged in here now. I have 2 experienced people here. Stephon Diggs goes off the board. Does make a lot of sense. We're gonna go with Derrick Henry here. I think Derrick Henry's probably the best move here. We're gonna go with Derrick Henry at the 9th pick. We're drafting in front of a lot of experienced people. We got 3 highly experienced people in a row, which is annoying. And then 2 experienced people. So we might be getting shafted here. We very well maybe. I mean, I'm hoping at this point, I'll end up with maybe one of these 4 players. Any one of these 4 I'd be very, very happy with. I'm assuming maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Travis Kelce does come off the board here. Najee Harris. I'm really hoping to get Joe Mixon. I've been a huge Joe Mixon fan the last 2 years, but I haven't really been able to get any Joe Mixon. I feel like Joe Mixon's always getting snatched out from underneath me. Or I like the other players more in this range, especially now. Joe Mixon used to be very undervalued, but now it's like he really isn't anymore. DeAndre Swift does come off the board here. We're going to take another great running back. You know what? We're going to do it. We're going to take Saquon Barkley. We're going to load up on running backs. We're going to have awesome running backs for this draft. The 9th pick, in my opinion, is honestly probably, all things considered, the worst pick. In my opinion, it's not terrible. Like, there really are no picks that I would consider to be like very, very bad or like much, much worse than other picks. But I would say if I had to choose, I would say 9th is probably up there for the worst pick. Because right here, there's a tier break right here between DeAndre Swift and Saquon Barkley in terms of ADP. Everyone else, and I don't really like taking Mike Evans at 16, honestly. I just think it's like, and then in the 3rd round, you get another tier break here, where you're probably not getting a guy. I mean, maybe I can get Alvin Kamara here now that he has been dropping. It is possible, but if not, Marquise Hollywood-Brown, Jalen Waddle, some of those type of guys will probably be who I'm targeting. So here we have another experienced drafter in the Daily Dial. We have so many experienced drafters. There's tons of experience in here, so this might be a tough draft. Deebo Samuel coming off the board at the 208. Mark Andrews still on the board here. It's surprising. I feel like Mark Andrews has been falling, and for reasons I don't really understand fully. I will definitely be drafting him all up in this range. After Saquon and Deebo, I think Mark Andrews is now at this point becoming undervalued. I really don't see him as much worse than Travis Kelce. Honestly, I thought coming into the offseason, I thought he was going to be rated higher than Travis Kelce, or at least in a similar tier. Like I'm a little surprised Mark Andrews is falling as low as he is, whereas Travis Kelce going at pick 12. I don't really fully understand it, but I guess to each his own. Oh my God, Mark Andrews is falling. What the heck? Getting Christian McCaffrey and Mark Andrews, that's pretty awesome. Here we have Nolander back on the board, faced with probably a difficult decision. He probably wanted at least one of these wide receivers, like D. Higgins, to fall here, and that did not happen. So he does go Nick Chubb. Let's see, does he take Leonard Fournette as well? We shall see. He goes Michael Pittman. A little bit of a reach. Actually, what I would call an absolutely freaking massive reach. I don't understand Michael Pittman there. I just really don't. I think if I were in the same situation as Noel Lanier, even though I don't really like tripling up on running backs in the first 3 rounds, I think taking somebody like Nick Chubb and then Leonard Fournette would be better if the value at receiver isn't there. I mean, because if it's just not there, it's not there, you know? You don't want to be forcing picks like a Michael Pittman, where I think that was an absolute course. Some people do love their Michael Pittmans. I really don't understand why. Some people love them. I am not one of those people. I really don't think Matt Ryan is a huge upgrade, or as huge of an upgrade as people say he is. And I don't think Michael Pittman really played that well for being the only receiver in his offense. We are probably going to end up taking Alvin Kamara here, I would think. Getting 3 amazing running backs, most likely, is going to be the right call, I think. I don't really want A.J. Brown. I'm imagining a lot of these experienced people really like A.J. Brown, so I'm assuming he should be off the board anyways. Maybe, honestly, seeing how far Alvin Kamara dropped in the last draft, it is possible that I can get Alvin Kamara at pick 40. So I may play it risky and see if I can wait on. I may play it risky and see if I can wait on Alvin Kamara, honestly. Especially because I do think James Conner is in like a similar range. So is Travis Etienne. At this point, with Alvin Kamara being suspended 6 games, Alvin Kamara is a very talented running back. But seeing how far he's fallen, we are going to take Alvin Kamara here. We're going to get him. We're going to get our guy. Have 3 absolutely insane running backs just to be able to dominate at the running back position. Although Alvin Kamara will not be playing the first 6 games, most likely. He is still an absolutely fabulous running back. Now these guys, they might start taking their guys. Very highly experienced people do like getting more so their guys. But we might get sniped because some of those guys, maybe some of our guys. I'm hoping Marquise falls. Terry McLaurin again going even higher. Hoping Marquise falls. If James Conner somehow makes it back to me, I may take him and just say screw it. I'm gonna have 4 absolutely ridiculous running backs. I mean, my philosophy generally on building teams is to have positional advantages. Is to build positional advantages. And here, if I were to get James Conner, I would not need to take another running back the entire rest of the draft. So it is possible. I don't think James Conner will fall. I think Juman G202 will take him, and he does. So there goes that idea. I'm not taking Courtland Sutton here. I'm just not. There's no way you can't force me to take Courtland Sutton. So I probably will take Jalen Waddle, or if Jalen Waddle does go off the board, Deontay Johnson. Either one, I will not be too mad at either pick. Draft has been interesting. It is kind of weird. Courtland Sutton does go off the board, so we will take Jalen Waddle. Thank God. I don't want to touch Courtland Sutton like no matter what. This is interesting. I don't really go triple running back too much, but I do like this team. Honestly, I like this team a lot. I really like this team. Now the person in front of me has gone 3 straight wide receivers, so I do think this draft has been pretty wide receiver heavy. So I am assuming some running backs will probably start coming off the board here, some more running backs, which will allow us to, I hope if I can get Rashad Bateman as my wide receiver 1, that would be awesome. I would take that. If not, Darnell Mooney, and then hopefully get a Chris Godwin in the next round after that. I don't think I will because these people are highly experienced, so they know Chris Godwin's a value where he's getting picked. I'm assuming at least. I don't think I'll get him, but it is possible. If not, maybe even really reaching on Dalton Schultz or someone like that, or securing a good QB like Jalen Hurts is possible as well. So I guess we'll just see. Breece Hall, Deontay Johnson, and Cam Akers do come off the board here. So we do have I'm surprised I was able to get Cam Akers and Breece Hall in the last draft at 48 and 49. Now they're going off the board a little bit earlier here. I do think running backs are going to get pushed up because these people do seem to be drafting a lot of wide receivers, or more wide receivers than you would expect. Gabriel Davis coming off the board at 44 is living proof of that. Zico 3-on-2 is up. Hopefully gets Darren Waller off this board here. And he does. Wow, I'm a mind reader. Zika, obviously a fool. Taking Darren Waller here. Allen Robinson coming off the board here at pick 46, and then Jerry Jeudy at pick 47. I don't get why Jerry Jeudy has really fallen so far from grace, but I am not complaining. I think Jerry Jeudy is a massive value where he's being picked. It's actually insane. I really don't understand what what the underdog community is doing right now with Jerry Jeudy. I don't, but I'm not one to complain. I'm not one to be mad about something like that. We do have a lot of quarterbacks starting to group up. It is interesting to note because I do think that when these quarterbacks start grouping up like that, normally they will go around this range. I have been able to take advantage of that at the 503 with Pat Mahomes a couple drafts ago. And when they do stack up like this, like Justin Herbert probably will be off the board by the time I pick, but if not, I think I have to take him. Same thing with George Kittle. I imagine George Kittle will probably be off the board here as he goes to Campbell Man. Zeke goes up again. We'll see who he takes. I mean, honestly, at this point, if Justin Herbert somehow makes it to me, I will gladly take him. Even Montgomery. Darnell Mooney comes off the board here. I did assume I probably was not going to be able to get Rashad Bateman and Darnell Mooney, especially because Darnell Mooney is somebody that I really, really like this year. I think Darnell Mooney is pretty much the only wide receiver in that offense. And, like, being the only wide receiver in that offense, it's a terrible offense. Absolutely god-awful offense. But if you're the only wide receiver who can legitimately command volume, you're going to be getting at least 1,000 yards, like he did last year with Allen Robinson. Now, no Allen Robinson. His wide receiver 2 is, what is it, Velus Jones Jr.? And Dave Montgomery's not a huge pass-catching back, so I don't really get it. I don't really understand why Darnell Mooney is so low, but I do like where he's going right now in drafts. I do think getting him is really, really nice. This guy at Mexican Food always taking the full time. I imagine he's taking Justin Herbert. I don't see a world where Justin Herbert is on the board. 14 picks behind ADP. I don't usually like taking QBs in this range unless it's Jalen Hurts. But if Justin Herbert's on the board, I mean, there's just no way I could pass on somebody like Justin Herbert. I don't think he'll be on the board, though. I think Mexican Food will take him. Brandon Cooks coming off the board. I would be fine. UDF taking Justin Herbert. We end up with Rashad Bateman. Not too mad. We have Jalen Waddle and Rashad Bateman now. 2 decent wide receivers. 3 amazing running backs. So I can't be too mad. I'm hoping to end up with one of these 3 players that I just started. We are 5 picks away, so it is possible. As long as I can end up with one, I will gladly be fine with it. Get Rashad Bateman here. End up with Chris Godwin. Then we have 3 wide receivers and 3 running backs to have a very strong wide receiver and running back core. If not, I would gladly take Jalen Hurts too. Or J.K. Dobbins to just really bolster my running back room so I don't have to worry about Alvin Kamara missing time as much. I think that is smart too, just not having a care in the world, I guess, about my running backs and really only having to take 4 at that point. Chris Godwin does come off the board, so it is possible this running back room is looking a little sticky right now. There's so many of them. Whereas this wide receiver, oh my god, okay. I see what's going on here. These people are picking wide receiver after wide receiver. That's what the highly experienced people do. They want wide receivers. They want wide receivers bad. Can't blame them. Wide receivers do get pushed up quite frequently. But I will gladly take J.K. Dobbins or Jalen Hurts. J.K. Dobbins is off the board. Vinny P, please do not take Jalen Hurts. Please, I'm begging. I do not want to have to take Josh Jacobs here. I'm begging. Don't you dare take Jalen Hurts. Please, Vinny P, please. So that has been a pretty interesting draft so far. We did have like some quarterbacks fall a little bit. Russell Gage, wow. Oh my god. So we are going to take Jalen Hurts here, meaning we do only have to take 2 quarterbacks, which is nice. Get him at a very, very slight value too. I'm not complaining. Get Jalen Hurts here. Maybe in the next round. I'm imagining not, because these people, again, are very highly experienced. Maybe get somebody like Trey Lance, but when you're trash like this, with people like this, you're probably not getting Trey Lance. I have to say it. With 6 people being highly experienced, hopefully one day we'll get that badge. I don't know how many drafts you have to do to get it. Hopefully one day soon we can get it. Adam Thielen coming off the board here. It's been a very interesting draft. Wide receivers getting pushed up this board. Russell Gage going pick 63, and Devonta Smith pick 61. You never see that. You really never see that. So at this point, I let people take their wide receivers, let people take their very early wide receivers, let value fall to me, as I did with Saquon Barkley and Alvin Kamara, and then still somehow squeezing out Rashad Bateman and Jalen Waddle, and getting Jalen Hurts at a little value as well. I mean, not too bad. I do like the way this draft's going. It's not insane. These people are much smarter than the people I drafted with in the last draft, but it is nice. It is really nice. Josh Jacobs going off the board at pick 66. All the running backs do generally come off in round 6. So if a lot of running backs don't start coming off here, that just means that this draft is very, very, very wide receiver hungry, and we should honestly be scooping up running backs. Like if I were to end up at pick 81, and guys like Antonio Gibson are still there, or Elijah Mitchell, AJ Dillon, if any of these guys are still there, I have to take that value. I mean, even though I understand, my positional needs right now are pretty high, I do definitely need a tight end. I do definitely need another wide receiver or two. If the value isn't there, I'm not gonna reach on a guy. I'm not gonna reach too far on a guy at least. Michael Thomas coming off the board at pick 69. It's nice to see. It is a little surprising. Michael Thomas has dropped off a fair amount, honestly. It's a little weird to see Michael Thomas dropping so far. Although I don't necessarily disagree with it. I think I haven't really been on the Michael Thomas wave. I don't think I've drafted too much Michael Thomas, if any. Um, I think he is very intriguing because obviously he does have upside that very few players have. Like him and DeAndre Hopkins, they both have insane upside that very few players have in this range. But at the same time, Michael Thomas hasn't played football really in like 2 years, and really it's just question mark after question mark with him. You're at the same time, like if you take him and he burns you, you're done. You're like absolutely done. Because in this range, you can still get very stable guys like a Drake London, a Joe Burrow. Like you can get talented players in this range. So that's really what I don't understand. I'm probably, hopefully here, maybe gonna take a QB, Joe Burrow, potentially someone like that. Maybe Trey Lance. Trey Lance will pass. Trey Lance will pass Tom Brady. Trey Lance probably will pass Russell Wilson. Probably will take over as the QB8. That's where I have him ranked in my quarterback rankings right now, so I would imagine he's probably about there. I think Trey Lance makes pretty good sense there. I'm thinking Antonio Gibson might actually be on the board. No, he is not. Let's go. That's what we wanted like to see. If I don't take Allen Lazard here, I don't think there's any chance he makes it back to me. I don't really think there's any chance. Tom Brady coming off the board. I may actually here, if Russell Wilson and Trey Lance are on the board, I may take Trey Lance because if I take Trey Lance, these people might get a little antsy. Not a lot of these people have QBs. They probably want to get their QBs. These people are highly experienced. They don't want to be stuck with somebody like Zach Wilson. They don't want to be stuck with somebody like Trevor Lawrence, for instance. So just to make them a little scared, maybe start run, get in their head a little bit. I think it would be smart to take two QBs, bring up the demand a little bit. I think it is smart. Hopefully we can get Trey Lance, and we do. We're taking Trey Lance here. I'm imagining Lazard probably won't be on the board. Neither will Clyde or Ayuk or TJ Hawkinson. Actually, one of them has to be on the board. One of these four players has to be on the board here. Not Lazard, though. I should have known. I knew Lazard would not make it back to me. The highly experienced drafters, for some reason, they love Allen Lazard. They're huge on Allen Lazard. And so am I. I love Allen Lazard. Allen Lazard's been shooting up boards. I feel like he's been the trendiest player in a while. We do have even more running backs or wide receivers coming off the board here. People love their wide receivers. I think Demar is probably gonna take a quarterback here. It is nice that we have two. It is really nice. I'm fine with having two. If none of these guys take a QB here, if Russell Wilson's still on the board, it's gonna look like a blunder taking Trey Lance at 81 because I probably could have gotten him at 88. But you never know because I probably would have just went with somebody like Allen Lazard. Kadarius Toney coming off the board at 85. There really isn't no value. They're bleeding us dry at the wide receiver position. I really hope Russell Wilson and Dak can come off the board kind of soon here. It would be nice. My apologies for yawning. I am a little tired. It is almost, oh, it's 9 p.m. at this point. Russell Wilson finally coming off the board. Thank God. Now we can take TJ Hawkinson. Now that pretty much allows us to only take 2 tight ends, which is nice. I'm pretty glad taking only 2 tight ends. Maybe get somebody like Dawson Knox in the next round, hopefully. I don't know exactly what my pick is, but it's like 110 or something. 105 and 112. So it is possible you end up with somebody like Dawson Knox. But this team is pretty well rounded overall. I have 2 great quarterbacks, so I don't have to worry about quarterback for the rest of the draft. Running backs, I'll take Mark Ingram to pair up with Alvin Kamara. Maybe take one more after that. Hopefully get some value falling to me with players like Chase Edmonds or James Cook. At wide receiver position, I do definitely need to start putting in some work. And it will happen. It will happen eventually. I mean, these people can't be taking wide receivers forever. It's impossible. I'll take the value when it falls to me now, have a little bit of a weird team, and then let value come to me later for wide receivers. Because people can't be taking wide receivers forever. It's impossible. These people will not be taking wide receivers soon. I find it impossible. These wide receivers, this wide receiver room is interesting, I guess. Pretty weird. Guy has no QBs too. Najee, Zeke, and Clyde. And then I feel like, I guess besides Travis Kelce, I feel like this team is pretty bad, honestly, all things considered. Now we have Kareem Hunt and Kenneth Walker coming off the board. Finally, we're getting these running backs off the board. Sayonara, Kenneth Walker. Sayonara, Kareem Hunt. Get off the board. Damien Harris would be a nice pickup. I mean, if I can get him, but it's pretty much impossible. I don't think it's possible. I do like Damien Harris a lot, though. I think Damien Harris, pretty good value where he's getting picked. I don't really understand why he's fallen so low. Training camp approaches. Harris appears poised to reprise his role. Ramondre Stevenson, I don't think is a huge threat. I don't really understand why people would be taking Ramondre Stevenson. I honestly at all. I really I mean, not at all. Like he will definitely get work if Damien Harris goes down. But that's what it is. He's another one of those handcuff backs. Taking a handcuff back like Ramondre Stevenson over Alexander Madison, a much better handcuff, or Ronald Jones, who I consider a much better handcuff. I don't really understand it. I really do hope to get Damien Harris here, though. That would be awesome. I don't think it will happen. None of these guys really have too many running backs. Mexican Food does, but this guy only has one running back, Dr. Spaceman. Rashad Penny coming off the board here as well. Dr. Spaceman taking Chase Claypool. Wow. Again, I will gladly take value falling to me if Damien Harris will fall. I don't think he will. Zico 312 is a smarter man than that. He knows value when he sees it. Damien Harris, we're not getting him. If we don't get Damien Harris, there are a few players that I would really like, such as Dawson Knox, Cordero Patterson coming off the board here, or Sky Moore as well. I think both of those players would be nice. Just taking a look at the board here. Damien Harris does come off the board at the 101. Oh my god, that stinks to see, honestly. Makes sense, though. I was falling in love with the idea of getting him, but I knew it was probably pretty unrealistic. Here, I do like the idea of getting Dawson Knox here. Both these guys have no tight ends. Mexican Food always takes the full time, so I'm assuming he'll take the full time again here. Neither of these guys have tight ends, but the two guys I do like are Sky Moore and Dawson Knox. Dallas Goedert would be interesting because I do have Jalen Hurts, but I'm unsure as to how much volume he's realistically going to get. Maybe if Sky Moore and Dawson Knox do go off the board, though, I probably will take Dallas Goedert, but I don't think that's realistic. I will probably take Dawson Knox here, even though I am purposefully avoiding the stack of Jalen Hurts and Dallas Goedert. I would rather have Dawson Knox, and I think that's good enough for me. Now we'll hopefully get up a guy like Christian Watson or Sky Moore, Garrett Wilson, any of these three guys. Chase Edmonds or James Cook as well. I like Sky Moore is off the board. I'm not 100% sure if I'd rather have. I probably might take. My apologies for another yawn. I'm super tired tonight. Dallas Goedert coming off the board at pick 107. Aaron Rodgers, Derrick Carr still on the board. A little surprising. These quarterbacks have been falling a little bit. I'm torn between either taking James Cook or Christian Watson or Garrett Wilson even. I think Garrett Wilson will be off the board. But between one of these three players, I think I'm going to end up taking Christian Watson because I do like Christian Watson so much. I think his role, he is primed to have a big role in this offense. I don't think there's any way around it. I don't think they can afford for Christian Watson to not have a big role. They traded up into high in the second round to get him. High into the second round. They knew they wanted Christian Watson. They knew that's who they wanted all along. And that's who I want as well. I'm taking Christian Watson. Also, it is nice. Now I have 3 great wide receivers, 2 great tight ends. Really, the only thing I have to draft for the rest of the draft is running back and wide receiver, which does free up a lot for us. Now we could just hammer these wide receivers and these running backs, which I think is nice because people in this draft probably will be going for other positions. There is value on the clock at tight end, at quarterback, especially in the 130s, 120s. A lot of tight ends go off the board. And I'm imagining Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers probably will not make it that much longer. I mean, it's just not possible for them to make it that much longer. I don't see how it would be possible for someone with no quarterbacks to pass on a guy like Aaron Rodgers at this point at 117. Or even with one quarterback, it's nice because you solidify having great QBs at this point. Here, I would really be hoping Ronald Moore coming off the board early this time. Usually, I feel like I see Ronald Moore fall past his ADP. I do like Ronald Moore a lot. I think Ronald Moore is somebody that's being highly slept on. His competition right now is Hollywood Brown and A.J. Green for the first 6 weeks of the season. A.J. Green, I don't think I've seen a season where A.J. Green has played full 16 games in 5 years. And Marquise Hollywood Brown coming in, he'll be that wide receiver one, obviously. But Rondale Moore, they drafted him in the late first round last year, early second round. They obviously like him. They want to use him. And they were trying to use him last year, but didn't really use him all too much. Really hoping here. I don't think there's any chance I get Michael Gallup. I don't think there's really any shot. Nope. No, and here takes Michael Gallup. Hoping finally that some of these tight ends, these running backs come off the board here. I would take Ronald Jones here though. I would also take Damien Pierce. Wow. Oh my god. These wide receivers are flying off the board. I should have known to have taken more wide receivers. Honestly, that's my bad. I should have known to have taken more wide receivers in drafts with people who are highly experienced. I should have thought about that. That's okay. Hopefully, I'm 6 picks away, and there's 5 guys I like. It would be pretty much a travesty if these 5 guys were all off the board. Pretty much a travesty. But I don't think it's going to happen. One of them does come off the board. His name is Ronald Jones. It is a little unfortunate to see Ronald Jones coming off the board here. Kirk Cousins, thank God, we got another quarterback off the board. We got him. Hopefully we can get some Tuas, some Justin Fields off the board as well. I do like this team. It's very well-rounded, which is something I don't normally do. It is like very well-rounded. My worst position is wide receivers, which is okay because these wide receivers have been flying off the board, but can't last forever. It can't. It's impossible for it to last forever. It has to be. It has to be. We need some of these wide receivers to be falling. Hopefully they will. Damien Pierce, Jacoby Myers. I don't know. I don't really want Jacoby Myers, though. I kind of need a little bit of a higher upside play here, considering... I mean, I guess stability would be nice, but... Maybe I will take Jacoby Myers, too. Yeah, well, I think I'll take Jacoby Myers, and then hopefully end up with Jamison Crowder or Jahan Dotson in the next round. Really, that would just be awesome. For the rest of the draft, I'm pretty much just going to be hitting these wide receivers up. Now, especially, maybe I do go Damien Pierce here. Maybe I do go Damien Pierce. Just that way I only have to draft one more running back the entire rest of the draft. These guys all have tons of wide receivers, tons of running backs too. And I get a better value. Taking him, well, only 2 picks behind his ADP. I'm a little surprised. I thought he would have fallen further than that, honestly. I didn't realize I was only pick 129. Hopefully we can get some more of these running backs off the board. Now we really don't need another one. The only other running back I can consider taking at this point is Mark Ingram. Maybe Tyrion Davis-Price if I want to just mix it up, if I'm feeling a little spunky. But I don't really think there's any other running backs that I want at this point. Which is nice. That pretty much means we only need to hit one more position. And that position is wide receiver. Pat Frymuth getting off the board. Thank God. Get these tight ends off the board. Get these dang tight ends off the board. Let's see. Mike Gesicki and Cole Kmet, get them off the board. Get them off the board. Joshua Palmer. Fudge. Oh, man. Joshua Palmer. As long as Jamison Crowder and Jahan Johnson both don't go off the board, though, I will get one of my two guys. One of the guys that I do want. Imagining I might get sniped on one of them, but that's okay. I don't think I'll get sniped on both. This guy has 7 wide receivers. If he snipes me on both instead of taking Mike Gesicki here, I'm going to be a little mad. If he gets his 8th wide receiver before taking a tight end like Mike Gesicki, I'm going to be pretty mad. Take Mike Gesicki, Vinny. Take Mike Gesicki. Give me Jamison Crowder. He goes Trevor Lawrence. We get Jamison Crowder. Now we have 4 wide receivers, 4 RBs, and 2 QBs. This team is the most well-rounded team I think I've ever drafted. I mean, my wide receivers are a little weak. Certainly not strong, but they're not terrible either. I mean, this wide receiver core is okay. It's like at least passable. And once Alvin Kamara comes back, this team is stacked. This team is absolutely stacked. There's literally no weakness of this team once Alvin Kamara comes back, aside from my wide receiver position, which is a small weakness, very small weakness. Considering at this point now, I only have to draft 2 quarterbacks. I only have to draft 2 tight ends. I only need to draft 1 more running back. I could have 9 wide receivers. I could have 9 wide receivers easily, which is nice. Just taking a look at the draft board here. We are glad to see a little bit of these tight ends coming off the board, such as Irv Smith, Pat Frymuth, and Gerald Everett. We do have Fields and Tua going to Mexican food, taking his 2 QBs. We have QBs on QBs on QBs coming off the board here with Jameis Winston. Now, every team except for one does have a QB, at least one, which is nice. I feel like waiting this long for a QB is really just not smart, honestly. Like, why wait and take somebody like Daniel Jones as your first QB? Unless you have a premonition from God coming down from the heavens and telling you Daniel Jones will have 5,000 passing yards. Zach Wilson will have 10 rushing touchdowns. Like, there's just no way you can wait on guys like that. At this point, it's just too risky, in my opinion. The floor. I mean, not that you really care about the floor, but the ceiling isn't that high. When you take guys that aren't rushing upside or 40 touchdown guys, the ceiling is very low. That's the thing. That's my problem with waiting too long on QBs. Is once you wait too long, the ceiling is really low for some of these guys. Like, if you don't have rushing upside and you're not slinging 30 tutties, you're probably not scoring that many fantasy points. Robert Tonyan, Nyheim Hines coming off the board, KJ Osborne, Darrell Henderson. Nyheim Hines, again, don't understand the logic of drafting him. Jameis Winston, Tua, coming off the board as well. I could see Winston. I could see drafting Winston. Devontae Parker coming off the board. I think Devontae Parker is an interesting pick. Between him and Jacoby Myers, Devontae Parker probably has more upside. But Jacoby Myers is definitely the safer option. Jacoby Myers is a guy who he had the longest streak without scoring a touchdown. The most amount of receptions without scoring a touchdown in NFL history. I think that is kind of what suppressed his ADP a little bit because he is a fairly talented wide receiver. I mean, he is in like a decent offense too. Patriots, they're okay. They only have the best coach of all time. But Mack Jones going into year 2, it is a little worrying. I mean, Mack Jones doesn't really throw the ball too often. They are a run-first offense, which is another reason why I like Damien Harris a lot. But Mack Jones, not really the best or most efficient passer in the league. So you figure it makes sense that they're going down this low. Here we have crazy tight end value on the board here. I can't say I've ever seen this, honestly. Can't say I've ever seen Mike Gesicki last to pick 153. I mean, I may honestly have to take him if he's fallen this far. It's honestly pretty mind-blowing to me that he has. Alec Pierce coming off the board 20 picks early. Again, these guys, very highly experienced people, they love getting their guys. They love getting their guys. They'll get their guys over anybody else. Anybody else. I may take Tyler Algier here. Maybe. George Pickens coming off the board as well. This is just ludicrous, honestly. Maybe I do get my third tight end and Mike Gesicki, which is kind of nice too, because now it provides me a lot more stability at my flex spot, which is nice. I generally wouldn't take three tight ends if my tight ends were of these caliber. But the thing is, if they're gonna give me this much value, I'm gonna take it. I just have to. Although it does suck, George Pickens, all these people are flying off the board. Mike Gesicki does come off the board, so I don't have to draft another tight end. I don't have to do it. Oh my god. All these wide receiver options are absolutely disgusting. I'm taking Tyler Algier here. I'm doing it. And then probably a guy like Robbie Anderson. If Robbie Anderson falls. See, the reason why these highly experienced drafters are very tough to draft with is because they will snatch every single wide receiver on the board. As many wide receivers. They will dominate the wide receiver space as much as they possibly can. Which is honestly crazy. I mean, it's smart because now they pretty much deprived everyone else of wide receivers. We were able to get good value, although I wish, knowing that they would have done a strategy like this, waited to take running backs until a little later, and probably taken a little bit more wide receivers earlier. But yeah, live and you learn. It is nice to be able to sometimes maybe admit that you made a mistake. I don't think this team really is a mistake. I think this team is still very strong. I think it is actually very, very strong. But maybe not the most perfect draft I've ever had. I would probably change the order of positions that I picked had I been able to do it again. The problem is though, I don't really know like what I would have changed in terms of like who I would have drafted differently. Like I think just looking, I need to make my pick. I will pick Paris Campbell here over DJ Chark. I don't care about the ADP, whatever. Um, we do have Paris Campbell. Uh, but I don't really know like what I would have done differently. Like just seeing all these wide receivers coming off the board, it is a little disgusting to see the names now on the board. Because this is kind of more so my strategy. Let guys like George Pickens fall to me because his ADP is ridiculously low, way lower than it should be. Guys like George Pickens, guys like Alec Pierce. But the thing is, these very highly experienced drafters, they also know that. And they also know that all these other highly experienced drafters want wide receivers. So they will go and they will monopolize the wide receivers as much as they possibly can. Which is why it was interesting. We ended up going with a very different strategy, kind of zigging when everyone else zags. And that's really what I do like to do. I think it is smart to zig when other people zag, especially in fantasy. Because if you do something like that, you end up getting value later while people are trying to recoup for their zig. Then you zag and you take the people that they let fall. That's kind of the hope for me. But in this draft, it really didn't turn out that way as much. It was definitely an interesting draft so far. It's definitely a pretty interesting draft. But we shall see if we do end up getting some good value at pick 177, 184, 201, and 208. I do hope so. We do have finally these tight ends coming off the board: Mike Gesicki, Cole Kmet, Higbee, Hunter Henry, and Alex O. I think I'm probably honestly in the middle of something with all these highly experienced drafters. I feel like they probably all launched into a draft together just for fun, just to see who they get, and I kind of just ended up sandwiched in the middle of it, which is pretty funny. But I do think I did fairly well for being sandwiched between some very highly experienced people. Khalil Herbert, a pretty big run on running back. Oh, Mark Ingram coming off the board here. That is pretty annoying. Pretty annoying. But we do have 5 running backs here, so I am okay with it. Here, now we're just going to hammer wide receivers. We're going to take as many guys as we can. We're going to take flyers. We're going to take flyers on flyers on flyers. Ryan Tannehill and Sammy Watkins coming off the board here. I would hope to get somebody. Maybe I'll take Will Fuller, Julio Jones, Wan'Dale Robinson. Take all these guys that I possibly can. Scoop up as many wide receivers. Devin Duvernay as well. Terrence Marshall. There's his ADP. Maybe Terrence Marshall, James Washington, Terrence Marshall. Guys like that. just try and scoop up as many of these guys, as many of these players as I can. And kind of just see what happens. I'll probably end up going William Fuller here. William Fuller. Hopefully he will get signed to a team. If he does, and if he ends up on a team like, I don't know, let's say like the Packers, something like that, and he does have a 50-point game. This is a best ball format. So he will pop off and give us pretty much a free win for the week, as he has done before. Just a reminder, 3 picks away right now. But if you guys could, it would be a fabulous help if you guys could like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would very much appreciate it. Seriously, it would mean the world to me. So thank you guys. If you guys could just leave like a comment or something, just say like hi, anything, or tell me how much of an idiot I am. I really appreciate that. Anyways, back to the draft. We do have James Robinson coming off the board here, Cameron Brate, and Noah Fant. Marvin Jones as well. Mexican food taking its sweet time as always. It's a little perturbing. Taking Matt Ryan here. And now that all these guys have all their wide receivers, they don't have to worry about their wide receivers anymore. I will get as many of these guys as I can. I wonder his projections. He's projected 110 points. That's pretty interesting. Maybe get Wan'Dale Robinson here as well. Load up on these wide receivers. Then hopefully get Devin Duvernay and James Washington and call it a day. It's been an interesting draft. Note to myself, don't do these drafts at 9:30 anymore. These people get smarter. You do the drafts during the day, you don't have to worry as much. These are normal people. Do the drafts at night. You very much so get the people who know what they're doing. Especially, imagine drafting at like 3 a.m. or something like that. Those are probably the people who spend all their time drafting and everything. Have done tons of research. So I would imagine drafting then is probably not a smart idea either. Maybe like midday, like 4 or 5 p.m., something like that. So we do have Mack Jones, Kendrick Bourne coming off the board here. Hoping to get Wan'Dale Robinson. And we do. Getting our 7th wide receiver here. We do have 2 more picks, I believe. Yeah, 2 more picks. So hopefully we can get 2 more guys here. Like a Devin Duvernay, James Washington, a Terrence Marshall. Any of these guys, I'd be more than fine with. We've Ernest Johnson coming off the board surprisingly early, honestly. I'm a little surprised at Ernest Johnson. Because I just don't think he has much of a path for opportunity, although he did actually get some last year. Very, very surprisingly. I think it is very hard to draft a running back 3. If Kareem Hunt did not miss time last year, Ernest Johnson would be a nobody. He would not be drafted at all. But I guess that's the way the fantasy beast works. Evan Ingram coming off the board here as well. I think Evan Ingram is a decently interesting pick at the tight end position. Zach Wilson, I think, is smart as well. Mack Jones, I don't really fully understand. He has no rushing upside. And he's not going to throw the ball that much. I mean, I just don't understand drafting a guy with pretty much no upside to be a great fantasy quarterback. I'm not saying he's going to be a bad quarterback. I understand liking Mack Jones as a quarterback. But as a fantasy quarterback, not as much so. Julio Jones coming off the board. Darrell Williams as well. David Njoku. Marvin Jones off the board a while ago. Cameron Brate. Again, they know. They're smart people. They know Cameron Brate is undervalued at this point. So they go and they get him early. Njoku off the board. We got Zico. Probably. I don't know who he's going to take. I don't know what his team looks like right now. Derek Carr and Kirk Cousins. He's got okay backs. Pretty bad backs, honestly. His wide receivers are pretty strong. I don't know. This team's good. This team's not great, but it's good. Cali, man, he's got Joe Burrow and Aaron Rodgers, both at really good values too. His running back room's okay, but his wide receiver room is absolutely stacked. Honestly, his wide receiver room is stacked. Cooper Kupp, T. Higgins, Allen Robinson, D. Hop, Boyd, all those people. We're currently 8 picks away. Now all these guys are done taking their wide receivers for the most part. Thank God. Thank the Lord. I don't know, how does Mexican food only have 5 wide receivers? What does Mexican food team look like? 3, quarterbacks and 3 tight ends, which I don't like doing. And his wide receivers really aren't even like that good. They're really not good at all, honestly. His running backs are pretty good. His running backs are actually really, really good. Running backs are strong as hell. But that doesn't excuse the fact that the rest of his team is absolute dog water. I don't know how you could even draft a team that bad. Devin Duvernay coming off the board. Gosh darn it. AJ Green off the board as well. Hoping for James Washington, maybe. David Bell still on the board here. Maybe I'll take David Bell. Probably. Maybe I will go Terrace Marshall just because stock is trending up now with Baker. And I mean, it is possible. I think he has gotten some first team reps in training camp. And it can't really get worse than Sam Darnold. I mean, Baker, not the best quarterback, but much, 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 much better than Sam Darnold. Surprised Baker's still on the board here, actually. Very surprised. So hopefully we can get Terrace Marshall. That would be awesome. Hopefully. Terrace Marshall, and then James Washington to round it out. And just have 9 very, very, 9 wide receivers with some upside, I guess, is the best way to put it. And some great running backs, some great quarterbacks, and some great tight ends. I think having Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, and Alvin Kamara, these 3 will dominate the league once Alvin Kamara is back. I do like this team. I do like this team a lot. Rob Gronkowski coming off the board as well. I do like Inkmaker's philosophy there to get Rob Gronkowski. So we are going to take Terrace Marshall here and then get James Washington. And honestly, call it a night after that. I guess before I go, I'm 5 picks away now, 4 picks away. Just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching. If you could, please go to the comments, leave a comment. Tell me how I did. Tell me if I did bad, good. I'm an idiot, moron, whatever. Give me some information if you think I'm sleeping on some players, too high on some players. Leave a like. Please subscribe as well if you enjoy the channel. Thank you guys so much. Again, I can't say it enough for watching. I really do appreciate it. Here, hopefully, we will take James Washington and then call it a day. Vinny P is up. We do have Baker Mayfield coming off the board here. Mo Alley-Cox, Jerick McKinnon, and Carson Wentz. So Vinny P about to make his pick. And then we will take James Washington and call it a day. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like. And I hope you guys have an awesome day.